Hello, in this video I'm going to talk about Clan Quest, my approach to Clan Quest. In this particular Clan Quest I'll be dealing with the Place 200 events. In this Place 200 quest, it requires us to place 200 increase attack buffs in tag team arena offense battles. Only wins. Also, we have another quest in which you place 200 increased defense buffs in tag team arena offense battles, wins only. Now there is a third which you might find if your clan is kind of lucky. You might find a third, which is this. Let me highlight it. There's this one, which asks you to place 200 increased speed buffs in tag team arena offense battles. Now if you're lucky to find the three events in your elite in the elite section of Clan Quest, if you find those three, you can easily get yourself 350 points if you do those three events. 350 points each, which would amount to 1050 points. So how do I do that? In order to do the events, let me open one of the examples that I think now when you are early to the game, the first strategy you might use, now before you pick, you have to make sure that you have increased speed champions, because they are the ones that might be difficult to get. But if you don't have any, you can go to stage 8 and farm until you get yourself Harris, or you go to stage 12 of campaign stage 12 and farm until you get yourself a Diabolist. So either you get Haley's from stage 8, I mean stage 6, I think it's stage 6, the Palace of Arabia. That's where you find Harris. Then you can only find the Diabolist at the Brimstone. So that's how you can get yourself one. But if you can't, then you have to wait 30 days of playing raid. You can play raid for 30 days to get yourself high cartoon. But if you're lucky with shards, you might get yourself high cartoon or other champions that can place increased speed on all allies, or even one of these two in shards. Now this is the setup I basically use. Harris for increased speed, Spirit Walker for increased attack, and Ward Bearer for increased defense. That's a basic setup. Now there are other champions that can do the same things. For example, Pilgrim can do increased defense, so I can either use Pilgrim or I use Ward Bearer for my increased defense. Then Intercessor, I can use Intercessor or Spirit Walker. In the case where I don't get them quicker, I can use Vupir as my increased speed. They are all uncommon. I'm not able to find any uncommon that does increase speed. So you need a rare champion to do increased speed. At least a rare champion to do increased speed. So this is the basic setup. But there is a problem you might find if your account is progressing and you can't beat the champions that you are facing, because they have like 2 or 3 strong players. They might destroy your team, and you must win in order to get those points. So in order to win, you would have to find a way of removing one of these players, one of these champions, in order to insert another damage dealer. So one way to do it is that you remove one of these things and put a damage dealer, and then just run them multiple times. In that case, you might have to run this event multiple days in order to get it done. But in the case where you want an efficient way of doing it, that's where the second strategy comes into play. Now, in the second strategy, let me pull up. In the second strategy, we use a champion that can do two things. In this case, in this account, I'm only able to use this player, Theurgist. Now, before I do that, let me show you something. One of the tools that I use to test, to check for champions. In this particular tool, I can search for champions by name or by ability. Now, in this case, I'm looking for an ability to place both increase attack and increase defense on all my allies. So I will search for on all allies, then I put a dash, that which means include increase attack ATK, then another dash, increase defense def, then I'll search. Now it gives me a list of champions that might be able to do those things. Not that they will do it, but they might be able to do it, because this is just searching, and based on the result we get from the database, it can tell us what champions we can use. Now here we have legendary champion. I think 2 legendary champions in the list. So let's go through the list. Here we have attack all enemies, place hex buffs for 2 turns, also place 60% increased defense and 50% increase attack buffs on all allies for 2 turns. So this particular champion does a whole lot. The image of the champion should be here, but right now I'm still working on the database, so I've not placed images there yet. So if we use this link, it will lead us to Ayumi Love, which is the website which I kind of like. I like this setup of the website, and it's easier for me to link to it. So Ayumi Love shows up what the champion looks like, where you can use the champion. As you can see, it's a very, very good legendary champion, useful in almost everywhere. Did I say almost? He is useful everywhere. I think he's the god of increased defense. I think he's the god of increased defense and increased attack. That's why he's useful everywhere. Probably has more to his kit, so you can investigate that to figure out what more this champion can do. But I can tell right now, based on Ayumi Love's rating for this champion, it's a must-have. It's a must-have champion. So that's the legendary. But now I don't have him or her. I don't know. Almost every play champion in raid has kind of I don't. Let me not say what I wanted to say. Let me just. Okay, now for my case, I have a lot of rare champions in my account. So let me search for rare champions only. Now in the list of rare champions, there are 3 champions that I'm being shown: Abyssal, Rotting Mage, and Theurgist. Now Abyssal and Theurgist are the 2 champions that I can use, because Rotting Meg can only put one of these on all allies, but the other on herself, so which isn't what we need. So we need the 2 abilities to be placed on all allies, and the only 2 champions that do it are Abyssal and Theurgist. They are the only 2 rare champions that does that activity. Now I don't know why raid kind of called this ability uplift here, but in this part for Abyssal they called it word of madness. So for Theurgist it's uplift, but for Abyssal, madness. Raid has to explain this particular difference in name when the abilities are the same, unless the cooldown is what differentiates the two, but I don't think it should. So in this account that I'm using here, in this account we have Theurgist, we don't have Abyssal. So in a case where we have Abyssal, I can just use different, use Theurgist here, Theurgist there, and put Abyssal here, so that they would look kind of spicy. But since I have a lot of Theurgists but no Abyssal, I cannot put in 3 Theurgists here. Now the thing there is that in order for Theurgist to put both increased defense and increased attack, she has to be ascended 3-star. But if she's not ascended 3-star, she would only put increased attack. So that, which means in these two accounts here, in these two accounts here, and in these two accounts here and here, Theurgist is not being efficient. So in order to make her efficient, I will have to ascend her to 3-star, so that she can place both increased attack and increased defense. So this particular setup is not ready for battle. It's not ready to do what we need it to do. So we have to ascend her to 3-star in order for her to place both increased attack and increased defense. Right now, as it stands, only this number 2, battle 2, will be able to do what we need it to do. But battle 1 and battle 3 will not accomplish our objective. So that's for Rotting Meg. Now with Abyssal, you don't need to he doesn't need to be, let me see if I can find Abyssal. No, he's not here. Let's see, open this. Yeah, there he is. Now let's open it with paint. Now for Abyssal, which is this champion here, this is Abyssal here. Let me highlight it with yellow. This is Abyssal. This is Abyssal. This is Abyssal. Okay. For Abyssal, in this account I have 2 Abyssal, but I don't have Theurgist, or I don't have Theurgist. So if I had 3 Abyssal, I'll put the third one here. This is not a good setup for Tag Team Arena, but I'll just use this for sample, for example. Now if I don't have Theurgist or Abyssal, I would use this setup, because Sepulchre does increase defense, while Intercessor does increase attack. However, in this team there is no increased speed, so which means this particular team is doing the increased defense and increased attack events, quests. They are not doing increased speed, so they cannot use the space for increased speed to put in another damage dealer, so that they can be able to beat more difficult teams. So in this case we use Abyssal use Abyssal to replace these 2 champions. So instead of having 2 champions, they just use one, and they place Abyssal in the place of those 2. Now if they are doing increased speed, they will put a different speed champion, probably High Cartoon, Diabolist, and maybe Apothecary, who does the same thing, increased speed. So that's for Abyssal. So I think that's it. So Abyssal and Theurgist can help you gain 1050 points by giving you one champion that does 2 things, that does 2 of the activities, two of the ability that does 2 of the abilities, and then you can now put 3 champions in the other 3 spots, where one will do the increased speed and the other 2 will do the damages or one does decrease defense and the other does the damage. So that's it for this video. Please you can put in your comments on things you would like me to talk about, and I'll look into it.